Good morning from Jonesboro, Arkansas. Very red Arkansas. Roughly 2/3 voted for Trump. Welcome to Jonesboro, Arkansas, November 7th, 2024, 7:32 a.m. And yes, we have just had our last election ever. The last time we had our last election ever was in 2020. The next time will be 2028. But anyway, I don't normally delve into politics. But at the end of this video, I'm going to talk about the election just a little bit. There's a reason why I don't talk politics on this channel. One, there's a million other places you can go to get that. But hell, it's gotten to where there's a million other places you can go to get EV stuff too. But another reason, I don't want to deal with the backlash. I don't care what y'all think about me. I don't care what you think about who I vote for. But what I mean the backlash is the days of debate are over. Now it's just name calling, screaming, saying that you're a fascist or a socialist if you vote for the other guy. So that's why. I just don't want to deal with all the you're a fascist comments or you're a socialist comments if I vote blue. Who knows? But anyway, let's get into the data on this electric car. And then at the end of the video, I'll talk about politics. If it's not there, that's because I chickened out and decided not to post that after all. Okay, here we go. 2021 Kia Niro and 2017 Chevrolet Bolt. How did we do in October and overall? And I'm also going to look at the total cost of ownership for the Chevy Bolt as well. Go over that real quick. Okay, we've drove 1,944 miles, both vehicles combined in October. 3.9 miles per kilowatt hour. Now, I upheld my part. I did 4.9. My wife, boo, 3.6. She leaves earlier in the morning. She used the heat a lot more than I did. And going to work, she drives faster speeds because of where she goes to work at. We both travel the same highway, 60 mile an hour zone, but she's on the highway a lot more than I am. Mine's more in-town driving than hers when going to work. But anyway. 500 kilowatt hours burned exactly. Not exactly, because I always round these off. I just think it looks better. I mean, don't you think the other way just looks better? But 500 kilowatt hours burned, all from home. 7.5 cents a kilowatt hour. $37.53. Now think about this, folks. Less than 40 bucks to go almost 2,000 miles. 1.9 cents a mile. Good Lord, that's cheap. Gas went down this month, down to $2.56 a gallon. $213.82. Now this I don't round off. I don't know why. Maybe I should. See what it looks like. I think maybe I'm going to. I'm going to fix that later. $213.82 we saved driving two 4x4 trucks. $138.95 driving two 4x4 Cherokees. And $68.81 over driving two Niro hybrid, Kia Niro hybrids. Not a plug-in hybrid, just a hybrid. $68.81. You look here for the total of 2024. You can pause these stats and look at them if you want to. And the total since November, since we got our second electric car, look at that, 21,000 miles. Look at this savings. And that is okay, we got November, that'd be 12 months. Well, this isn't a full month here. Look at that, $2,400 basically in a year. $1,500, $664, geez. 538 miles, 4.9 miles per kilowatt hour, 110 kilowatt hours, $823. And here's the savings if you want to pause and look. I'll give you a second. And here's another thing. I can see how these pictures might distract people. Instead of looking at this data, they look at these. And so if I was doing this just for y'all, I wouldn't have these pictures here. But this is for me first. If I did not have a YouTube channel, I would still have all this data. And I like these pictures, and I change them up every once in a while. So even though they may be distracting, they're there. And let's look at the boat. Hey, I had this earlier where it was like this, just showing this year. And there we go. Look at the boat if you want to look at this month. 1,406 miles, driving to work and back every day. She works a lot of hours. She's probably worked at least 2, maybe 3 Saturdays. So it's driving 50 miles round trip to work 6 days a week a lot of times. Sometimes 5 days a week. Less than 30 bucks though. Less than 30. I guarantee you, she's probably got a co-worker that probably lives 10 miles from work. 5 miles from work maybe. They probably spent more than this. Probably so. driving one of those big honking trucks that's lifted up, getting 16 miles to the gallon. And a lot of trucks get 16 miles to the gallon. Let's punch that in there. That'd been $200, $195, still $152. This is my friend's truck. He's kept track of every gas tank he's ever gotten, and that's why he averages 19.8. All right, and once again, in case you want to pause, we're moving on. There's the mileage log, just in case you want to see it. Ready? Pam's mileage log, just in case you want to see it. Price parity, 3.9 miles per kilowatt hour last month, $2.56 a gallon, 24 mile per gallon vehicle. Gas would have to get down to 46 cents a gallon just to break even, just for the same, to cost the same to travel the same distance in a 24 mile per gallon vehicle and our electric vehicles. And if you drive a 16 mile per gallon truck, I've get down 31 cents a gallon. My friend's truck, 38 cents a gallon. Hybrid, driving like old grandpa, 58 miles to the gallon. A sports car, driving like a horse's ass, 35 cents a gallon. Whatever, 69 cents a gallon. Average car, 46 cents a gallon. Been 279 days since we've pumped gas. It's been 171 since we purchased gas. Or since I've pumped gas. Not we. Let's get into the subject let's look at this. Real quick. Chevy Bolt. I need to change this mileage right here. Let me do that. She's got, as of the end of the month, as of November the 5th, 13,569 miles driven. 13,569. Okay. Now keep in mind, we just paid insurance for another 6 months. So all this cost includes insurance for 6 months. Even though it wasn't due yet. It wasn't due for about 2 more weeks. And here's this if you want to pause it and look at it. We're going to the top. If you want to pause it and look at it for some reason. I doubt you want to. But anyway. Okay. Total cost of ownership, $15,352. Now this is more than just the price of the car. This is insurance. This is every single thing you could imagine associated with the car, including $15 cabin air filter, whatever, everything. $1.13 a mile. This over here, I'm guessing this is more of a educated guess than anything. If we keep it for 10 years and it's worth $4,000 in 10 years, it's going to cost us $184 a month. Everything, insurance, fuel, everything. That's our guess. Total cost of ownership with equity, $9,700. I figure it's worth right now. Looking at KBB and also looking at what Carvana has offered us for the car. And KBB actually says a lot more. But Carvana right now I think is 10.2 or something like that. And I took off $500 because it costs $500 to fix a dent that Carvana don't know about. We'd have to do that if we was going to sell it to them. So $9,700. $483 a month. Whoa, that's geez. But right here is equivalent monthly car lease payment. This is just if we had leased the car for what it has actually cost us and then turned it back in for the guaranteed buyback price. $11,741 is what we actually paid for the car minus the tax credit. $9,700 value of vehicle, $2,041. Cost per mile, 15 cents. Cost per day, $6. $174 a month equivalent lease payment. If we had leased it for a year. And right here, all right, that's it. Now, let's get into the subject that I normally avoid. I can understand if you want to leave. Bye. Thanks for watching. Okay, here's some things that y'all may or may not know. Donald Trump, he improved his vote count by, I think it was 96%. 96% of the counties. 1,300 counties more or less. And almost every one of them, he improved his vote count. Allentown County, Pennsylvania, went Republican for only the second time since Reconstruction, since the carpetbaggers invaded us. Only the second time. 24% of black men voted for Trump in Georgia. 44, 45, 46% of Hispanics across the nation voted for Trump. This is a clear slapdown of something. You can decide whether it was far left progressive policies, Kamala Harris, Joe Biden, whatever. You can decide. But I will say this. My joke earlier about the last election, that is so silly. If you did that, then I'm just giving you some friendly banter. That's all. Just giving you some friendly banter. If you're the one that said we had our last election 4 years ago, or we just had our last election now, that will not happen. The military would not let it happen. The American people would not let it happen. My EV loving / Tesla hating / TDS stage 4 suffering cousin, he told me Trump supporters would allow him to name himself dictator. He sure would. They wouldn't care one bit. I'm telling you, he's wrong. If Trump announced on day one he's going to be dictator, his supporters would be in, and they would uprise. They're not going to allow it. The military is not going to allow it. The courts aren't going to allow it. Nobody's going to allow for him to suspend the Constitution, the voting rights, disband the Supreme Court. Why do we want to disband the Supreme Court? They like him. Disband Congress, none of that. That's not going to happen. I promise you that's not going to happen. And as far back as my first vote for Ronald Reagan in 1984, first time I was able to vote, at the time I had no idea why I was voting for him. I knew nothing. I don't know why I voted for him. Now looking back on it, I can tell you why I should have or should not have. That's going to keep that secret, but I didn't know at the time. Ever since then, the other side has always said, if the other side wins, America is doomed. And then after the fact, if you ask them about it, they'll be like, well, we barely survived. Every time. Reagan was going to get us into World War III, and we would not survive. And H.W. Bush, I don't remember that well. I think they chanted the same thing, but I can't remember for sure. They for sure said he didn't care about the usual stuff, all minorities and whatever. Bush 43, absolutely. We would not survive Bush 43. There was no way we was going to survive him. Would not happen. And before him, Bill Clinton, of course. And I tell you what, I was told, a family member told me the day before Bill Clinton, before the election, they said, God will not allow Bill Clinton to win this election. And I tell you why. Because we will not survive if he wins. If Bill Clinton wins, America is gone. And so God is not going to allow that. And I tell you what, then I won, and I worked harder than I've ever worked in my life to give y'all that middle class tax cut. And now you can go see my library in Little Rock, Arkansas, the Bill Clinton Presidential Library and Massage Parlor, if you want to, and have a good old time. And God bless America. And anyway, he was going to doom America. Obama, we would not survive Obama. And we would not survive the first Trump. And I guarantee you, if you ask people, we survived Trump the first time, they'll say, we barely did. We barely did. That's what they always say. One of my favorite uncles, and even though he's my uncle by marriage and not by blood, he's gone now. His name was Vern. What an awesome guy. Man, he was funny. He was fun to be around. He was caring. He was financially responsible. Great, 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 great guy. But he truly believed if George Bush 43 won, America would not survive. And he told me, he used to tell me every time I'd see him, he'd say, if that George Bush gets it again, then we're going to be living in one house and no food to eat. There won't be any houses to live in. There won't be any food to eat. I'm telling you, Jim. I'm telling you, you think the Great Depression was bad. You wait and see if that George Bush gets it again, how bad it's going to be. We survived Bill Clinton. We survived Bush 43. We survived Obama. We survived Trump the first term. We'll survive Trump the second term. Some of you think we're going to thrive. I may think we're going to thrive. It doesn't matter what I think. I may think that we're going to barely survive. All right, y'all. That's it. We're going back to a non-political zone. I just wanted to throw that out there. But you know how my neighbors voted. Just like if you live in California, I know how your neighbors voted. And Arizona just simply cannot count the vote. And California either cannot or will not count the vote. This is ridiculous. Florida counted every one of their votes in 4 hours? Arizona said it may take 2 weeks. Arizona, shame on you. That is unacceptable. And besides that, I promise you, there's a correlation between people believing the results of an election and how long it takes to count the votes. The longer it takes to count the votes, the more you're going to have people making accusations about how the vote was dishonest. And there is no reason for Arizona not have the vote count in now. And I don't know what's going on in Nevada. But I know Arizona, they actually said it may take them 2 weeks. Arizona, you're stupid. The people of Arizona, you have got to demand that they do better. Do you not care? I don't live there. I don't know. Maybe they do. Do you live in Arizona? And how do you feel about Arizona and California just simply cannot or will not count the vote? And I don't know about Nevada. I don't know. I hadn't heard anything about them. Maybe they can't count the vote either. Look at all these other states. Now, California is already showing blue because they know what's going to happen. But there are House races we don't know about because California simply will not or cannot count the vote. One or the other. All right. That's about all. Bye.